How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today as I get to break some news from Marvel Comics. Today I'm going to be talking about one brand new Marvel Omnibus coming out in September of 2025 and a reprint of an oversized hardcover coming out in December. So, join me. This video is sponsored by Marvel Comics, so thank you so much to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us advance notice of both of these books coming out this year. And before I go any further, smash that like button, please. That goes a long way for us here on the channel. Very small thing you can do, but it does mean the world to us. And stay away from the comments and genuinely be surprised. Or if you don't care about spoilers or you don't mind reading a list, whatever, just go down to the comments and let us know what you think. All right. So I'm going to be talking about the reprint that is coming in December of 2025 first. And there is a reason for that, because these things could be connected. And this book was originally published in 2019 and it came and went. So it is my pleasure to get to announce the reprint, which they don't really do often, of oversized hardcovers, but this is a special case. The reprint of the House of X, Powers of X hardcover coming back out in December of 2025. So first, let's take a look at that standard edition cover. The standard edition cover is, of course, supplied by Pepe Larraz, who is one of the series artists on these miniseries. And let's talk about the contents of the book. So in here, we are collecting House of X 1 through 6 and Powers of X 1 through 6. Now, or if there's that Powers of 10, well, you can find out by reading the book. But this is all written by Jonathan Hickman and drawn by R.B. Silva and Pepe Larraz, doing the artwork of this whole series. Now, let's take a look at the direct market cover. And this direct market cover is supplied by Mark Brooks, who did a lot of the variant covers for this series, and there were a lot of variant covers. So this is the mini-series that kickstarted the whole Age of Krakoa. This is the one that introduced us to the concept of mutants living together in harmony on Krakoa and what Professor X's plan is going to be for mutant kind. So there is a reason why I mentioned this oversized hardcover reprint first. Now, let's talk about what is coming this December. I've mentioned on the channel before, and when I do announcements, that, you know, I get to read all the comments. I get to see what people want when they're like, oh, another Spider-Man book, oh, another X-Men book, or, but the majority of people, I get to see what they've wanted. And this omnibus is something that they have been asking me for since 2020, like 5 years, or really in 2019 when the whole thing started. But it is finally coming out. And it's an X-Men omnibus. It's the era that a lot of people fell in love with. A lot of people came to comics because of this era. So it is my absolute pleasure to get to announce X-Men Age of Krakoa Dawn of X Omnibus Volume 1. That's right, Volume 1. Dawn of X, baby! All right, let's take a look at the standard edition cover, and then we'll look at the content and talk a little bit about this era. This standard edition cover is supplied by Lionel Francis Yu, who is one of the series artists, the X-Men actual series artist in the book that was written by Jonathan Hickman. Of course, he's not the only artist, and Jonathan Hickman is not the only writer. I mentioned that we are getting a House and Powers of X oversized hardcover reprint, and that was setting up the events that are happening here. So this is in the wake of House of X and Powers of X. This is a new age for mutant kind. So let's talk about what is collected in this book, and it is a big book. Collected in here is X-Men 1 through 7, X-Force 1 through 8, Marauders 1 through 8, Excalibur 1 through 8, Fallen Angels 1 through 6, New Mutants 1 through 7, Wolverine 2 and 3, and Giant Size X-Men Jean Grey and Emma Frost, plus material from Wolverine #1. That is almost 50 issues worth of material that is going to be collected. This is going to be a big omnibus. And before you even ask, before you even comment, yes, I've already asked, and yes, it will be in a proper reading order. That's right, because I already knew you all were going to ask about that, because that is very important to people when it comes to these series, how it's going to be mapped. So it will be mapped in a proper reading order. And oh my gosh. Now, some of the stuff has, of course, been available already in oversized hardcover format, like Marauders and Excalibur and X-Force and X-Men had its Jonathan Hickman Omnibus. Fallen Angels was never collected in a oversized hardcover format. Neither were New Mutants. Wolverine was collected, and then the Giant Size was part of that omnibus. But for the first time, it's going to be available, all of it in a proper reading order in oversized format. Now, before I talk about this era, let's take a look at your direct market cover. And your direct market cover is supplied by Russell Dauterman, who did a lot of the variant covers for this era. So in here, you're going to find the work of not only Lionel Francis Yu and Jonathan Hickman, but also Benjamin Percy, Jerry Duggan, Teenie Howard, Brian Hill, Ed Brisson, R.B. Silva, Joshua Cassara, Steven Segovia, Matteo Buffagni, Michelle Bandini, and Lucas Wernick, Stefano Caselli, Marcos Toe, Jan Basaldua, Rod Reyes, Marco Faila, Adam Kubert, Russell Dauterman doing internal artwork, and so many more. As I mentioned, this is going to be a big book, and I will add that this is one of a possible 10, I think, or 11 Omnis. And a lot of that has to do with the interest in these books, much like the Ultimate Spider-Man, which you were crazy enough to do so much pre-orders that we ended up getting 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5 one day. And of course, the same thing happened with Wolverine when that was reprinted. So this is your chance to make sure you pre-order the books. I always like to state that because that's how they gauge the numbers, but pre-ordering for something like this is really important in case you want future volumes of Dawn of X. And I'm sure, you know, Dawn of X, and then once that's done, they'll get into the Swords of X, and Reign of X, and Destiny of X. I just want to see it all properly collected because I know it means a lot to a lot of people out there. And it was a great era. I really enjoyed it myself because I'm not only the guy that gets to announce these books, but I'm also a reader. But those are your 2 announcements for this round. In the comments down below, let me know what you think of the content, the book, the covers, and of course the reprint in case you didn't get it the first time. Hopefully you can pick it up this time around. But that is it, everybody. It was my absolute pleasure to get to announce this one. Make mine X-Men.